There have been a lot of games and videos in recent years that emulate or pay homage to the PS1 and its aesthetic. As someone who grew up with the late PS2 and Xbox, and then later on the PS3, 360, and Wii, I have always been mystified by the untouchable realm of PS1 games. So naturally, after consuming media produced by those who grew up with this era of games, I found myself buying a PS1 and some games to experience this legendary era. However, when I tried Tomb Raider, the classic Resident Evils, and niche games like Dino Crisis, it became clear that these games were not approachable for audiences that didn't grow up with them. That brings us to today's video. Today I'm Pliskin and I want to show you some PS1 games that feel less like products of their time and are instead purely well-designed and approachable games for those of us who kind of missed out on this generation. Usually when someone mentions PS1 horror games, everyone talks about Resident Evil. And for good reason. Resident Evil is great, however there are a lot of elements to the original 3 that really make them feel gatekeepy and dated. However, despite Silent Hill's very hard puzzles, stun-locking enemies, and tank controls which keeps it at the bottom of this list, it's still easier for someone who's never touched a PS1 to get into Silent Hill than it is for one of us to get into Resident Evil. It's much less punishing with item management, it's much more cinematic in nature, and any roadblocks can usually be overcome with a guide. Those roadblocks usually being, okay, what's the solution to this puzzle, or what turn or where am I supposed to go? Not so much, okay, now you have a boss fight that you're not going to be able to get through for the next 3 years. Thank you, Resident Evil 3. It's genuinely scary, has fun to use weapons, and tons of Easter eggs. Plus, all the Silent Hill vibes the internet knows and loves is all in here. Just play this one on easy. Metal Gear Solid was cool when it came out, but it's really starting to show its age. The over-reliance on codec calls, soft-locking torture scene, and clunky sniping really kill the pacing. However, there are neat gameplay mechanics that push the boundaries of the PS1. So imagine MGS1, but just the cool quirky parts and core stealth. VR Missions has you covered. Levels are designed specifically around the mechanics rather than the story, so the C4, Nikita, and even the PSG-1 are all far more viable and interesting. As you play, you'll unlock cooler modes like Mystery Mode, which doubles down on the puzzle elements. The scoring system encourages replayability, and you are constantly unlocking something new and surprising. A personal favorite unlock of mine is the high-res, at least for PS1, models of Mei Ling and Naomi you can unlock in a unique photo mode. Basically, it's a great way for those who want to experience classic Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation without having to deal with that one part or that one thing that everybody complains about. And then on the other hand, it's a great way for those of us who have played Metal Gear Solid 1 on PlayStation to go back and experience the parts we love without having to deal with the parts we tolerate. From the second you boot up Ridge Racer Type 4, there is this undeniable confidence and sexiness in the game that I really can't describe. Like, oh no, the pretty lady just broke her shoe. Don't worry, she won't have to walk home. The Ridge Racer will pick her up. Damn, check out that lip bite. From the start, Ridge Racer 4 is just sexy. The cinematics, the music, the menus, all ooze a level of smoothness my dates are always quick to remind me I don't have. I've never been good at racers, but this game streamlines the genre in a way where even I can study the track, manage my speed on turns, and win. There are multiple campaigns. I chose the one where you have to save the pretty French girl from an arranged marriage. Losing means this sweet girl out of her depth will have to marry a French dude. Not on my watch. This isn't about the race anymore. This is about the right to choose love freely. I will get good, study the track, and win, and see her smile. And when I do, oh my god, this looks like a fucking creepypasta. Jokes aside, the simple narratives have enough heart, and there's a real sense of progression as you play through. Also, you can unlock a Pac-Man car, and there's split screen in this game. So, yeah, it's fucking amazing. I don't like fighters. I find they are either broken or way too sweaty. Tekken 3 is the exception. It's approachable but complex, and gratifyingly fair. You see, it's not about spamming a move, it's about timing your strikes. There's no stun locking, just understanding of openings. It's a very nice risk-reward system. I have a lot of fun playing with all the different characters, although I'll be honest, I use King because he's like a man cheetah thing, and that's pretty freaking cool. Yeah, it's a game that I can play on my own with the arcade mode. It has some standalone single-player modes that are almost like little campaigns, and of course, you can play with someone else next to you on the couch, and that instantly gives it more points in my book. I honestly think there is no better fighting game out there on PS3, PS4, PS5, Xbox, Wii. This is the epitome of it all. On an objective level at least. Everyone knows that WWE 2K 2010 is easily the greatest fighting game ever made. However, when it comes to just objective quality and not just my own experiences and all that kind of stuff, Tekken 3 is definitely where it's at, and if you have a PS1, you need to get this game. I just have one question. What the fuck is a Yoshimitsu? Now, this is something really special. A cinematic story that succeeds at what MGS tried to do. Unique gameplay unlike any of its peers. And that late 90s CG vibe, amplifying the uncanny horror. In Parasite Eve, there is so much to love. You play as Aya Brenna, an NYPD rookie fighting a strange outbreak across New York City. You'll use this snazzy map screen to travel around New York, explore hubs and dungeon-like levels, and the combat is just chef's kiss. The way it works is simple. You dodge enemy attacks until an action meter fills up. Then you either use your guns, your supernatural powers, or your healing items. It's like this cool halfway point between turn-based combat and, live combat. There's no tank controls, there's no unfair item hoarding roadblocks, just really well-designed levels awesome combat, and a great paced story. There is this cool hub in the NYPD with quirky characters, like an anti-gun, weapons technician in there. It's very reminiscent of Astral Chain, just a much more primitive version of that game's hub world. The soundtrack is pure Zaboomafoo era vibes. The pre-rendered backdrops are gorgeous, and the pacing flows without any unnatural breaks. In short, between the combat, exploration, and mystery-solving narrative, this is going to be a game that you're not just playing and being like, oh, cool, PS1 game. No. You're going to take this seriously, and you're going to want to binge it. It's at the top of this list because while it's approachable to those of us under 30, it also has that PS1 aesthetic that so many of us, or that so many YouTubers and other people have championed all these years. So it's easily the best PS1 game ever made. If you have a PS1, or if you're ever gonna, just play a single PS1 game, this is the one to play, guys. So that's my list. I made sure to avoid the term modern audience when talking about these games, as most kids today will probably load one of these games up and they won't really critique the graphics or the muddy gameplay. They'll just be like, okay, how do I access the store? So this isn't really a video for cracked out Fortnite 9-year-olds. This is for those of us who are in our 20s who grew up playing the 6th and 7th and even 8th generation of consoles. If any of these games interested you, you can 1. Buy a PlayStation 1 and pricey physical copies, or 2. If you have a PS3 or PlayStation Vita connected to the PSN store, you can buy them for pretty cheap. Or you can emulate them all on PC. Although I'm not an expert in PC, so don't ask me how to emulate them. If I had to recommend something to you, it's either going through your PS3 or your PS Vita. That is the most cost-effective option if you already have one of those consoles. That's all for today. This has been Pliskin. Over and out.
This is Solid Snake. Hey, subscribe to Pliskin Boy. God damn it.
You heard him.